What's good with it? It's Sharp with it, and today I brought you some videos that may make you rethink your reality. But before we get into this, could you please hit that like button, that subscribe button, that I should not have to remind button up your coats, because we're about to step into the code. Let's go.
How building a personal brand literally connects you electrically to the Earth's manifestation grid. And if you're lucky enough to be seeing this video, make sure to watch it to the end and save it, because I guarantee you're going to have a massively helpful way to look at content after this. So in occult philosophy, there's an understanding that where attention goes, energy flows. So everything that has attention on the internet already, there's a massive amount of energy, both manifesting it to continue in however it's being viewed. You can think of all these topics that people want to know more about as like big balls of electricity. And what happens when you start to build a personal brand is that you're connecting to topics that people are already interested in, giving a new take, something entertaining, or something valuable, and you're transmitting that to the world, gathering energy in the process. So then slowly over time, or quickly if you're skilled at it, you begin to accumulate more and more energy from topics people are interested in. This could be literally anything, like fitness, business, news, what products are good. And as you do that, you're building a certain energetic charge related to whatever it is that you're talking about. And so after a while of doing this, if you want to manifest something on the physical plane, whatever energy you've collected can be added to it, because now you yourself are accumulating energy on this plane of the internet, which I think is honestly the fourth dimension, but that's a different video. And this explains why people that make content are inherently more successful for the most part in the third dimensional world, because they have more electricity to manifest with, which simply means more attention in this analogy. And so this is why if you want to break out of the matrix, if you want to stop working a 9-to-5 or a job you hate, or create music, art, or just leave something that actually has an impact in this world, it's important that you start creating content as soon as possible. Because every time you make a piece of content, you're pretty much rolling a dice, where let's say the top number means that you get a viral video. When you first start out, you're rolling like a D100. But then as you get better and better, it can be rolling like a D10 or even a D4. Because the world was created as it is, with you in the situation that you're in, with such a massive amount of energy behind it. So in order for you to get out or change this situation to one that is more preferable to you, you are going to need to accumulate the energy to do that. And because it's getting harder than ever to gather energy needed to break out of a situation in the third dimensional realm, you need to be using the fourth dimension of the internet in harmony with the fifth dimension, what it is that you actually want to create. And so it's no coincidence that creating content of you speaking your truth, telling people what you're excited about, telling people how you can help them, and creating a reflection of whatever you want to exist in the physical plane is one of the best things you can do if you want to manifest something, whether that's a better life for yourself, or the existence of a cool project or business. Go comment video game if this makes sense to you and you're picking up what I'm putting down. And if you need help leveling up your content ability, getting viral videos with more and more regularity, learning to connect that to a business that pays you extremely well.
So pretty much every time you put some content out there, you're attracting that type of energy back to you. You know, what goes around comes around, as above, below. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. That's why your algorithm is fit to what you think about a lot, or what you are interested in. And often you will find out that your algorithm is reading your mind. And it's because it can predict what you're going to do. Not only that, they actually can read your mind. That's a real thing. I mean, you know, you can control the Apple Vision with your mind, you know, with your eyes, really with your eyes and your intentions, you know. And it's only going to get even more crazier in the future. So whatever you put out, you're going to, you know, the karma of it, what goes around comes around, you know, karma. So the karma of it is what you get. So if you're doing something genuine, you will get genuine things back. That's how I see it. So it makes sense. What you put out, what you speak into existence, you know.
Click the link in my bio.
Let's say I want to get to Paris for a quick lunch. Well, in theory, entanglement might someday make that possible. Here's what I'd need. A chamber of particles here in New York that's entangled with another chamber of particles in Paris.
Right this way, Mr. Green.
I would step into a pod that acts sort of like a scanner or a fax machine. While the device scans the huge number of particles in my body, more particles than there are stars in the observable universe, It's jointly scanning the particles in the other chamber, and it creates a list that compares the quantum state of the two sets of particles. And here's where entanglement comes in. Because of spooky action at a distance, that list also reveals how the original state of my particles is related to the state of the particles in Paris. Next, the operator sends that list to Paris. There, they use the data to reconstruct the exact quantum state of every single one of my particles. And a new me materializes. It's not that the particles traveled from New York to Paris. It's that entanglement allows my quantum state to be extracted in New York and reconstituted in Paris, down to the last particle.
Bonjour, Monsieur Green.
Hi there. So, here I am in Paris, an exact replica of myself. And I'd better be, because measuring the quantum state of all my particles in New York has destroyed the original me.
Even if that's possible, I'm never going to do that because I have no idea where I would be appearing on the other end of that, of that portal, but it is true. We're all particles. Energy is constantly moving. It's everlasting. It's in the air. You can't really see it right now, but it's pixelated. You can kind of see it at night when it's dark. You could actually see more things at night than you think, or in the dark than you think. Everything is separated, but nothing is separated. So that you exist in all places at once. So theoretically, you could transfer from one place to another, just like you could transfer for data, because we are data. DNA is data. You can transfer data from one place to another.
Here's how the matrix works. So, reality, we humans see it in 3D. We have up, down, left, right, and then we use time as a fourth spatial dimension. Reality, the surface, is actually two-dimensional. That's why we say the universe is like a hologram. Actually, everything is on a two-dimensional surface being projected from a three-dimensional sphere. That's how we see our world. But true nature of reality is 2D. Now you are here, but you are not here. How can that be? Well, look at it this way. You're the observer observing the observed. Interesting. Let me break it down. Look at it like a video game. You are here as an avatar. Outside of the game is the player, the higher self. People may call it God, universe, higher power, divine being, source energy, but it exists outside. It communicates to you and sends information which gets downloaded to your unconscious, which you process and use in the matrix. So it's outside giving you information within the matrix. It's like a movie. You're the star, the actor, the director. So look at it this way. The director, higher self behind the scenes directing you, the actor or actress. See, you have two different versions. Now, what's so special about this matrix? Well, it is not truly material. It's actually immaterial. We actually live in an immaterial world. That's right. According to quantum physics, we are basically nothing. 99% empty space. Then we break that down. We found we are strings, got string theory. We have muons, gluons with these particles that are very transparent, and we become nothing. So there's something projecting this nothing to us. What is that? Again, higher self. You can call it God. Next point, your brain. It's the receiver. It's like a television. The TV has the receiver to fix the pixels. Everything is pixelated. But here's what you need to know about the matrix. You can escape the matrix. What I mean by that, you can escape the program. See, the matrix also programs you through the media, social stuff, religion, government, and it all goes to your unconscious mind. So you have to become aware to not be programmed. So you can be in the game, but not be really part of the game. And the secret is master the game. When you master the game, that means you become aware, you become enlightened, you become spiritual. Now you use your higher self, your intuition, your gifts and abilities, and it will make you very successful in achieving your goals.
Matrix is a code program, and it's basically everything that you have accepted into your life, or everything you've watched, everything that you listen to, and the things that you choose are not really, most things are not really chosen by you, but they have been manipulated and advertised to you. And so, you're often making choices of people that have used psychology on you. And once you understand that, you break out of that. And even a lot of religious, concepts, because they've been changed over time by man, tend to make you believe certain things that could be a little bit different and a little bit more universal, and that's what spirituality is to me.
Do you know what this is? These are pieces from one of the greatest monuments the ancient world ever built, the Lighthouse of Alexandria in Alexandria, Egypt. Before we get into its twin in Alexandria, Virginia, you have to see what's down here. Massive granite blocks. There's a replica of the granite box at Elephantine Island. There's massive statues like this of Ramses II. It was one of the largest things ever built in the ancient world, which is why the blocks are so big. Now, the one in Alexandria, Virginia is equally amazing. The inside is ridiculous, typical of the Masonic style. They even have an Ark of the Covenant in there. You probably heard of Alexandria for the library, which that's all that remains. The lighthouse was a beacon for the ancient Hindu, Phoenicians, Greeks, Nabateans, and Nubians to bring their knowledge in a central repository. The place had some bad luck. Julius Caesar caught it on fire, and then a Christian mob caught it on fire. Then the last caretaker and brilliant philosopher Hypatia was brutally murdered, which was unheard of, and then the Arabs sealed the deal and burned the rest of it. But that knowledge was only lost to the common people. The real knowledge always has been encoded in the geometry. Geometry has always been the hidden code because it does not lie. Everything from the layout to the hieroglyphs had a code. Higher intelligence and the hidden mechanics of the universe can only be communicated this way, which is why that technique was used after the knowledge had to go underground. For example, the safest stronghold on Earth is a geometric library for a higher intelligence to decode. For example, the King's Chamber is 2 perfect squares. The squares are 1 unit of any measurement, then the diagonal is 2.236. That's the measurement of the King's Chamber in meters. Meters are based off the speed of light. Its perimeter encodes pi. You can't create the Masonic logo without 2-square geometry. Just by using proportion, no measurements, you can get the definition of 3D space, the binary sequence required for life, and the golden ratio that allows us to perceive everything in the universe. We lost a ton when that place burned, but most Americans don't even know this exists, let alone what it means. And the greatest part is, you don't have to be a member of a secret society to learn it anymore. Forbidden City, China. They are guarded by these guys. Look really closely at what that paw is sitting on. Do you know what that is? That is knowledge that was guarded at all costs in every culture in the ancient world. To understand what this was, you had to go through a very intense process, training in many temples to become worthy of knowing. They guarded it so closely because learning it unlocks new pathways in the mind, a new way of seeing the world. They figured out a way to teach you everything you need to know about the universe using only a circle and a straight line. When you draw a bunch of circles and connect those lines, you can project it into 3D as this shape. It's the vector matrix. It's where our concept of the matrix comes from. Inside the circle is a tetrahedron, a 3-sided pyramid. It's the simplest shape you can draw to triangulate any point within any circle. Now, if that matrix is a fabric of space-time, we can grab that fabric and twist it down to create particle. This goes straight into the concept of the atom. The atom comes from the word atum in Egypt. Read that description. It's also the origin of ADM, atom, in Hebrew. So up here you can see the shape evolving into the icon that we know. That icon geometrically is the vector equilibrium. It's one of the most stable shapes because all lines and angles are exactly the same throughout the whole shape. That is an actual picture from IBM of an atom. Check out how closely all of those points hit on the electron clouds. Now the Bohr model makes a little bit more sense. If that wasn't weird enough, this knowledge goes smaller. That is a quantum carpet. They're used to visualize particle density and explain how waves become particles. Now all of these translate into complex math equations. If we mathematically map out the quantum carpet of a torus, we get that. Do you see a pattern here? In my last video, I showed you how the ancient Sumerians knew about this quantum wave interaction. So ancient Sumerians knew about this, ancient Chinese knew about this, ancient Hindus knew about this, Native Americans knew about this, ancient Egyptians knew about this, but you don't know about this.
So bam, sharp-witted, the symbol. That right there, this guy right here, that symbol means a lot to me. It's the flower of life. Knowledge that was guarded at all costs from every ancient religion was guarding this symbol right here. Amazing thing about it is that they figured out a way to explain everything that's going on in the universe, and every answer pretty much comes to the same conclusion as just a circle on a straight line, which is, that sounds crazy, right? But it's the simplest thing sometimes. When you have the right perception, which is the whole point of the flower of life, it's like you have to level up in your chakras, in your energy levels, so you can perceive different things. And once you get to a higher state, you have an unlimited way of manifesting things into existence. I don't take it lightly. It's my symbol. I follow it. I definitely use it to advantage whenever I can. That ends another episode. I appreciate your valuable time. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to spend it with I. And I would like to thank you, sincerely. Sharp Witted. Get witted or get lost.